Hello, this will be part 2 of the Pearlescent Presence Portal launch transmission. So I just finished recording part 1 and I was going to reopen that, but I kept hearing as I ended the first transmission, part 2, and I was like, okay. And then I looked in my notes that I had written down throughout the last week or so, and I saw that I wrote down 2020, and synchronistically, I was just speaking about 2026, 2024, 2022, and increments of 2, 2 months, 2 years. And I had written down 2020, and I did not see that. I didn't remember that. So there definitely could be something significant about this coming in. And another sort of dissolving structure that feels like is coming in, or that you may notice, is the way that you react, or reactivity, or I should say the lack thereof, something that may have been evoking some sort of response or emotional, a welling up of emotion or something of that nature, could all of a sudden just be diffused. And I had a personal example of this. The day before I was talking about in part 1, the quantum leaping, jumping phenomena. And, something that has been sort of coming up a lot for me recently about sort of essentially my decisions of how I live my life that maybe others around me don't really understand. And it came up, and my response just was so different. I literally just smiled, and I felt this internal smile, and I just had nothing external to say. I don't know if the other person on the other end loved that, but I just felt this internal peace and clarity and confidence within myself, and there was just no need for me to continue to try and explain myself. So that's a very specific example, but there could be something like that, and this is also coming through. I'm seeing the Rhino card in the Animal Oracle deck by Toni Collette Baron-Reid. I always say that. An actress is Toni Collette, and I always say Toni Collette Baron-Reid. I believe Collette Baron-Reid is the Oracle deck author. I don't know why I always do that. Anyway, it's the Rhino talking about overcoming obstacles, and I'm seeing the number 33. So yeah, there's something about honoring your reactions and the way that your emotions have been coming up, because it's a map. It's showing us something, it's releasing things, but it feels like there's either just come a time or a time coming where that reactivity is being diffused, when you, I don't know, I'm seeing someone in movies when there's a bomb about to go off and these people are trying to figure out how to defuse the bomb, and they get it at the last second. I don't know why I'm seeing that. Yeah, just I needed to let out a really deep breath. And I'm just realizing now that I wanted to use this microphone that I have at my Access. And this is the second time that I recorded and did not use the microphone. The first time I was walking. So when I felt the inspiration, I'm still getting used to that. When I feel the inspiration, I just start recording. So I am working on the tech slowly but surely. So thank you for your patience with that. But the song Sweet Disposition, I think that's what it's called, from the Temper track, kept coming through. So that song could be significant for someone, or that movie. I don't remember the title right now. 300 Days of Summer? 500 Days of Summer? Something like that. Summer could be significant for someone, or just the feeling of summer. A summer glow. A summer glow in the flow. Yeah, there's something about flow and glow. I realized that a lot of my dreams I usually translate in real time on in YouTube transmissions. I've been sort of working out personally a little bit, one-on-one, by doing research and working with Gemini, like I call it Gem, like AI Gemini. And so I haven't been sharing them as much. And I think there's a reason for that. I think there's also like this coming back to myself in a way, and like my process. So yeah, some of you may be going through this too. Like I was talking about this in the first transmission, part 1, about like the way your structure and your flow and the way you do things, and like changing that up. So I'm not going to like not do that forever, but yeah, right now that's just sort of what I've been feeling called to do. But the essence of these dreams have been very vivid, and really, like, it's interesting. It's like different parts of the subconscious and the drivers of the subconscious are like shifting through the dream state, so I can like observe it. And it's almost like this knowing that I've been feeling, like etherically, and synchronicities that are showing it. And now it's like my subconscious is like rearranging to that alignment. So some of you may be really in the midst of this as well. So paying attention to like dreams, visions, deja vu moments, things of that nature that are sort of dripping in. And I use that phrase because I believe I used it in Substack as well, connected to this transmission. I kept getting this analogy of like paint, and when you have paint on a canvas, and if you hang it up while it's still wet in some way, or like take it off of a flat surface, the paint starts to like organically drip and then mix together and create something else from the original way that the paint was dispersed on the canvas or whatever medium you were using. So that's sort of like the energy I was getting in part 1. I talk about like the primary color rainbow spectrum template, and then the heliometallic, the pastel frequency template, and this idea of like codes or Keelan codes hatching or dripping in through like the spiral gnosis. So that is a really strong energetic right now that I've been sort of working with, if you want to put it into a visual. And so I talked about this before, but I remember I had this dream, and it reminds me so much of Fantasia. Fantasia could be significant for someone, but like the colors are like alive, right? They have this like consciousness, and they come to life, if you will. And the cosmic color code is something that I have been talking about off and on for a while as well. And to me, the cosmic color code comes in as like those of us who have these like encoded or encrypted color spectrums within our like aura. You know, so oftentimes it's dormant, and it will come through in different ways. You know, if you're an artist, it may be colors that you're drawn to. You may dream of like color spectrums that we don't even have here on Earth, or have visions or meditations surrounding this. So it's like we're here to anchor in these cosmic color codes and in our own unique blend or essence. So even if some of us have the similar color code or cosmic color code, celestial color code imprints, it's like that paint on the canvas I was talking about. Like they can still mix and manifest through and be birthed in different ways, different creations. And so the energetic essence of this coming through then of course comes in with that primary rainbow spectrum, like the physical 3D world that we see, and how that manifests these etheric or heliometallic aspects and these different lineages of cosmic color codes. So yeah, over times, like there's also these like overlays, like the metallic spectrum, the bioluminescence, the effervescence, you know, these essentially like plasmic fields of consciousness that express through these color frequencies. And so yeah, I really want to sort of merge this back into why the pearlescent presence portal is coming through of creating an offering. You know, those of us who feel connected or called to this, it's like that snapshot or imprint that wants to be anchored. And yeah, So whether it's through this launch portal that I've created, or something that you're creating personally, or just leaving a comment, just however you want to interact with it, if at all, is obviously completely your own way of imprinting. And I was just drawn to an A and like an A frame. For some reason, I just got a flash of that. Also, like a wooden desk seems significant. But like I said, there's so much coming in, and I'm so excited to be able to just sort of keep releasing these encoded transmissions. It's just something I really love to be a part of. So yeah, thank you. I'm going to keep this one a bit shorter, and all of the links for the Substack, the Stripe to lead you to more details about the launch that I've been talking about, and part 1, as well as Patreon and other sources or platforms that I'm releasing on. So yeah, thank you.